Here we are, week 9, and we've covered a lot of ground. Um, your exposure to Islam has been limited, but I hope you find it informative and maybe enjoy the fact that you have a little more background than maybe a lot of other people have on the topic. Um, as a side note, I posted that video that was just me giving my thoughts about the whole issue of Jews, Christians, and Muslims and getting along and all of that. And uh, I hope you found it informative or thought-provoking. But ultimately, it was a little off-topic, but on topic with what we're doing in the class. I have to briefly mention for those who care that I misspoke. There's a part of it I just watched where I talked about Egypt supporting communists, and I said in Egypt, in the south of Egypt, and I meant Yemen. But for those of you who care, who paid that a close attention. Anyways, though this is a great segue for me to talk about this week's work and a little commentary on one of the documentaries that I'm having you watch. You will notice that I have a little more activity in terms of lengths, videos and documentaries. And I added 10 extra points to video notes because you have more. So there's a total of 30 points. And I also made the video notes due Sunday. Okay. You can turn them in earlier, of course. But I felt like there was some important things I wanted to say and incorporate into the section. And despite the fact that I added more to it, I still am frustrated that, covering the Crusades, I did not do as much. And you would think, here I am talking about the world of Islam, and then, here's such an important clash between the Muslim world and the Christian world, and then I focused more on the Vikings. Why? Well, see, I have Thor's hammer. Thor made me do it, okay? Listen, the reality is that I am limited, and I just kind of felt like that there's a new kind of interest in the Vikings because of the TV show, and it kind of all goes together. And if you look at the documentary I have on the Carolingians and which deals with Charlemagne, the documentary does a nice job. This is from the History Channel, and I don't like a lot of documentaries on the History Channel. It incorporates the rise of Charlemagne, the destruction of pagans by him, the coming of the Vikings, the creation of knights in a feudal society, and then that unleashing of that energy onto the Islamic Middle East and the creation of the Crusades. And I do have you watch a crash course on the Crusades, and it's in the textbook. So it all fits well together. The documentary, though, but History Channel has a problem of doing a lot of sensationalism. They like to be a little bit melodramatic about everything, which is fine, whatever. But that's when they were even doing history at all. Now they're just, I don't know. You learn about alligator hunters or something. I don't know. I hate the History Channel so much right now. You have no idea. But anyways, they also have some misinformation in there that you may not care about. But they talk about the Vikings invading, like unleashing themselves on the people of Iceland. Iceland was created by Vikings. There weren't any people there. Okay, it was basically a desolate area that was colonized, after the era or in the middle of the Viking Age, and was created by them. So that makes Iceland very interesting and unique to its culture. That the founders of its state were actually Vikings for the most part. Now, one last thing I wanted to clarify. I realized that I might have seen a little bit confusing. If you're going to pay attention, when you see my lectures I do on Vikings, I talk about how the Germanic people left no writing behind, and how they didn't get to write about themselves, only outsiders. And then I talk about Viking writings. So let me just clarify. The texts you will see in the lecture that there's the Icelandic sagas and then the Eddas. You will learn more about that when you watch my documentaries. These are written centuries after the Viking Age by Christianized Icelandic writers who have reflected on oral traditions going back in time to those earlier centuries, okay? And that's what I just want to clarify about. And you'll kind of see the importance of what I'm talking about when you take the time to watch the documentary. I mean, the documentaries with my lectures, okay? The other thing that I just kind of want to just kind of add on the side, for those of you who are interested in kind of Viking history or Norse history, I consider myself basically more interested in Norse per se, as opposed to specifically Viking. Norse could mean all that represents from the northern peoples of this time. Viking is a particular type of behavior, which maybe we don't all find very desirable, which is raiding, right? But the one thing I just wanted to say is that the neo-Nazi and kind of white nationalist movement has really embraced Germanic history and Viking history. And there's even pagan people. There's a pagan religion. Well, it's called a Sotru. It came out of Iceland in recent times. And so you now have people who actually worship Thor and Odin, and are in Iceland just reinstituted for the first time since the year 1000, a pagan church dedicated to the ancient Germanic gods. Now, what's happened is within this movement is that many white nationalists see that is our original. They say, we white people, this was our original language until we got imposed by the Semitic religion of Christianity that came from Judaism, and it was imposed on us by Rome. And so then you have other people who just like Norse culture and are from Norse culture or have a background, right? Okay. I mean, for me, I have, my last name is Scottish. I have Scottish, German, Swedish, and French, and I'm leaving out some English. Okay, all that stuff. Celtic, Germanic stuff, right? I like it, and I like to wear this. And I've actually been in places where I've seen like some white guys come up and they look at me and they go, "I like your hammer," and I'm like, I think your politics are probably not the same as my. There's an ambiguity about this. I feel like I can't, for me, letting people who decide to make this a political thing is I'm not going to just say, oh, I'm not going to wear this because some people choose to wear it to symbolize something else. But I think that you should all be aware of that. So if you find you're kind of interested in it, I mean, I will wear this, and I know sometimes I have to explain to people who are in the know, like, what my interest is in Norse culture and Germanic culture, to clarify, if they're wondering if I'm into white nationalism or not, okay? And it's kind of like my friends who wear the Star of David. Some of them are very critical of the state of Israel, but they're proud to have Jewish heritage. A lot of people see the Star of David, and then whatever happens with the politics of Israel, then they assume that that's what's associated with the Star of David. And, that's two different things: culture, and then politics, and then how people use those symbols to promote a particular political point of view. All right, so that's all. If you have any questions about that, or you want me to elaborate, feel free. I hope you had a great weekend and that you enjoyed this week. And as always, I'm available for you if need be.